There we go.
Can you hear me now? Good. All right. So do you need to start all over again? All right. So let's look at, for those that kind of see, just to get any idea about what I talk about today versus the preview, I just want to set a context about it. For those that actually do have Power BI today, this should be pretty familiar to you as far as capability. This is the kind of off-premise implementation of a SharePoint business intelligence site template. Think of it in those terms for those that are familiar with that concept. One thing that you notice is that what you should start seeing is this little annoying pop-up that comes up along the way that says, hey, try the preview now. And basically what will happen is that it'll transition you over into the preview. I don't think you automatically get access to the preview if you don't sign up for it first. So it may fall you over into a login screen first. So let's look at kind of what that experience looks like. So if you go to, and if people have computers, you can follow along as well, or on your phone. If you go to powerbi.com, you should get an interface very, very similar to this. And this interface is the first thing it wants to do is saying, try it, it's free. So if I put in, my corporate domain email address, it'll basically take you to another screen. It'll say, is this the right email address? And it'll actually send you an email to say, hey, let's start the trial. And you click the link and it's active. There's a lot of actually good information on here that I want to mention as far as components and features, some of the things I talked about. For those that are interested in Development Center piece, let me just highlight this component as well, which is, this is designed from the ground up to be a software as a service. So all the different capabilities that get enabled over time or extended over time are actually based in the same framework. So if you want to build, say, hey, they don't have access to, I'm trying to think of something they don't have, but some service that you use that you want to be able to integrate into that experience as an option for a data source that people can get to. You can actually build and publish a web service that you can use to tie into it. The other nice thing about it too is that there's an implied marketplace around it as well. So if this is something that you actually want to add, say, your own flavor to or experience, what I see a lot is like industry specific, areas or influence on it. That's creating a whole economic model on its own. So a lot here, I'm not going to get into it today, but a lot of capabilities that are dependent upon the services that are available within Azure and other platforms. You can look at that as well. And then one more honorable mention on the support piece, and we'll kind of see that throughout, is that the support is actually pretty responsive. For those that have seen it and used it, I've gotten comments back. I've seen responses no more than, say, 8 hours. I mean, I've actually seen responses in as little as an hour. And if you do a chat, you leave your chat window up for a few moments, you actually get somebody that will respond on the other side. The list of updates and suggestions for not just bug fixes, for new features and things, and I'll show you where those feedback options are. Those actually are being used to kind of crowdsource the capabilities of new features. Like, for example, somebody said, hey, it'd be great if I could get this particular feature. And a lot of people voted on it, and it got a bunch of votes, and it got implemented in a release or two. So I've seen it happen firsthand. So that's pretty exciting. All right. So now that we've got that experience, let me see if I can find. Let me go ahead and transition over to this now. And hopefully this will fit. I might try to do what's the F11? There we go. All right, hopefully you can see everything. So this is the public preview when you log in. And again, it's browser independent. It's all HTML5, so you can use Firefox. Chrome works pretty well. I actually use Opera a lot. It's really fast. And this is what you get as far as your rendering experience. So imagine you're logging in and you want to be able to do some analysis. This is a pre-built dashboard. And I may come back to this to kind of showcase some features, but one thing that you want to do when you want to build a report is that you want to access data. So that's why this is up here first. And I know there's some components down here. I'll notate those as we walk through this specific scenario. So when you access data, and again, there's options here on the left, and these will change over time. They have. I've seen it happen. The idea is that, obviously you've done some work in Excel. That's where a lot of people do analysis. You can bring that component in. That the designer piece that I told you about, it actually creates its own little proprietary file. You can upload it as well. Think of it as like, all the BI components in Excel skinned out of Excel. So you don't lose anything there. There's your analysis services connection, all these online services, this retail example dashboard, which is out there. It's a live data set. And then these are all actual other demonstrations as well, ones you can play around. Actually, there's a good story around this digital crimes unit piece. And then again, what other information, is available to you. So if you want to suggest a data source, you can go down the list saying, hey, it'd be great to have this one. You can actually see and track, and you'll get alerts as far as, hey, just want to update you on the progress of something you voted on. Occasion one day that, hey, it actually was released, go update the new version. Oh, it popped up in the new one. So this is how we would actually connect the data. I want to grab an Excel workbook real quick to kind of show you what the different options are. Again, this being cloud-based, you actually have, if you have an Office 365 tenant, you store stuff in OneDrive, you can bring it in. I've got a couple examples, but I want to choose a local resource as well. And I'm going to go into my past chapter, and I'm going to go into my Nashville meeting. And I want to pull in this file. This is a file that I already pre-built. It's based in the AdventureWorks database data set. So hopefully everybody should be pretty much familiar with it. And we're going to let that connect and upload. And while that's uploading, actually, let's take a look at this file real quick, just so you can see what's in here. So for those that haven't seen it, this is kind of the experience that you will see within Excel, and that this exists today as a capability that you can use to kind of build and view reports. So what I should have come up here pretty quickly is a set of different reports that I built on my data set. I actually build this in some workshops that I host with customers and folks that are interested. So you see I've got a view of some year-over-year sales analysis, some year-to-date product sales and trends, some sales geography information plotted on Bing, some discount analysis on tables, and then some currency data that I brought in. So hopefully that should be the same thing that we see when we go back to my Power BI site. And what I should see is what happens is that three things will happen. It'll create a data set that's a connection to whatever source that you're in. It'll create a collection or portfolio of reports based upon those Power BI reports that you have out there. And then it'll actually create a default dashboard that I see. So what I should see in this default dashboard is this basic view. Now, one thing that is obvious to a lot of folks, especially who have seen the current version and stuff, are like, wait a minute, what's that line on the top? So by default, the Q&A feature where you can ask questions against data set and stuff, it's actually front and center. It's not like a feature over on the side. So if I say show sales territory, sales amount by sales territory, without any real work as map, I should be able to get insight into data without actually building anything. So the nice thing is that high touch experience about, I don't even know how to even build a report. I just want to get some answers to this information. You can get to that, almost immediately. And then this is the underlying data that it's tied to. So all the mechanisms for having to elevate something into Q&A and a feature report and stuff is taken away. It's there by default, which is pretty nice. But I don't want to necessarily do that. I want to kind of look at my report and see what it pulled in. So here, I should get a view, and it actually brought in 3 pages, and I think I had 3 pages of Power Views in my other reports. So here's my year-over-year report, here's my sales trend report, and here is my sales by geography report. And I can interact with these, whatever way I need to. And this is kind of the experience for someone who's just consuming it directly. They're not making any changes. They're just iterating with the filters and stuff. But if you want to actually make some changes, you can go into Edit Report. And this kind of brings that authoring experience outside of Excel as well. You can go in here and pretty much make whatever changes I need to specific reports. Like, for example, I think this is a map. Let me go ahead and click on it. And I'll highlight it on this map piece and say, hey, here's all my different report options. And one thing you may notice from the current version is that I've got like almost two and a half times the number of items that are out there that I can use. So I can change this to, a map. I can do it as a gauge. There's all kinds of specific things that I can do to make this look, differently than what I had before. And if I like it, I can actually keep this version and save it and make those changes and save it to an original report, or I can save it as another new report. What will happen is that it'll show up as a new report based on that same data set and just extending the paradigm that way. So if I try to get something that shows here, not really sure let me try to pick one that actually has some data. If not, I just want to show you guys the illustration. There you go. That's what happens when you do a demo. So let's just take one we've got, and we can actually say, hey, this is an important enough component of a report that I want to actually have it on my dashboard because it's a key piece of information that helps drive my decision making. So let me go over to this piece on my map, and I'm going to pin it to my dashboard. All right. If it's going to misbehave, I'll have to use another one. Let's look at this. Let's look at this dashboard, one I was working on already. So this is one I uploaded, and I was going through this view, and I wanted to basically take some of these reports, make some changes, and add on top of it. Hopefully it'll come up here soon. There we go. So I'm going to take my map, and I'm going to pin this to my dashboard. So what this will do, this will actually take that component and all the layout and data things are going on, and it should add it to my specific view on my dashboard page. And that's basically what you can do is you take the collection of all the different reports that have been published, the ones that you take, you actually pin them to your dashboard and actually arrange them in a way that you want to actually see them. So it looks like it actually did come through. So these are some that I actually, we're working on before. If I want to, I can actually, change the name and title on it. If I don't want to actually change the item, I actually have to go into the specific report. And what this can support is the drill through capability. So that report, whether I keep it as it is or whether I change it, it's still tied back to that original report. So it helps support that drill through capability that gives me the continuity of information saying, hey, there's something here I need to see, and then I can go into the details around it so I can do some specific analysis. So at first, some people say, wait a minute, that's not what you clicked on. And that's kind of the intent. I want to arrange something so that I can, recognize it as something to take action on and then go to a more standard layout below. And again, I can continue the paradigm around editing, changing, publishing, what have you. So when I work on this for a while, what you should get, and hopefully this behaves a little bit better, is a view like this where, I actually have some metrics that are feeding me information that I want to go after and use, and I can do some analysis on. And if I like this view, I can go ahead and work through it in a way that makes sense to me. So you have the standardization of all the reports and data sources, but you also have the customization of the actual interface itself. And it seems like nothing's working right now, so that's what usually happens. Let me see. Let me go back to this dashboard for a minute. And if I decide to change my mind later, like I said, I can move these things around. You know, I kept this down here in case I want to add something later, but if I don't need it, you know, I can move it over to the side, or I can actually remove it. If I remove it, it's not taking away the actual report. It's just taking away that default access to it. And this one looks good. I can move it over here. So it's really nice to have to kind of customize the experience for each user and have a standard set of data sets and connections behind it. So, all right. So beyond that, let's see what else we can look at. So this goes into some of the download components. They're available, again, off of this page to kind of get you started, or you can go to Microsoft's download site and bring them in as well. This is the iOS native app. Actually, you can get it from the iTunes or Apple Store as well and download it independently. It's a free download. It's a native app that actually interfaces with the service. The designer will look at that next here in a couple of minutes. And then you at the Analysis Services Connector preview. I told you about that gateway. This is basically setting up that secure connection back to your data set on premise to allow you to do the data manipulation and refreshing online. And then this is the support, you know, the same links that kind of tied you back before, the sites and things. And then there's the feedback. So the feedback's pretty important because it's asking for input about what would make this a better experience for you. Some of them are technical around, you know, what kind of reports and graphs would you like to see versus, you know, hey, would it make sense to have, what was funny is that at one point this get data was on the bottom of the list and people had to scroll through all the reports and stuff to get the data. And somebody said, hey, it'd be better if it's on the top because I'm always creating new stuff. So it moves to the top. So it takes in consideration a lot of different aspects, including things like data sets. So let's look at and maybe wrap up on the preview piece. So this is a download client. What's nice about this is that I know when setting up customers with some of the components in Excel, you got to figure out, hey, what architecture you on, what version of Office architecture do you have, and then go get the right download or add in for Power Query and Power Map or whatever. So nice thing about this is that when you click download, it automatically senses what platform you're in and it downloads the appropriate piece. And then everything's included in a single part. So there's no activation, configuration, turning on COM components, that type of thing. So here again, it's got some good help and videos. Honestly, the videos around this are really good and fairly numerous. They are kind of very, very narrow. They got some great broad overviews that take 5-10 minutes and that go into segments. So go out there. I guess I'll send the link, Jim, later as far as where there's a group in YouTube that actually has the collections for all the videos. So this is the designer view. And for those that have used the Excel piece, some of the stuff may look familiar. But what you have the ability to do is get to all the different data sets that were available to you within Power Query. We've got SQL, got some blob storage stuff, and even some of the newer things like connecting to business object universes and blank queries. It's interesting. It didn't seem that way, but the same group that's building the components within Excel are actually building the preview. So you're almost guaranteed, and I haven't seen the situation yet, that everything you can do within the Excel experience, you can do within this experience as well. Let me try to grab my file again. It'll be a tad more successful. So I'll go to pass, go to this. So the first thing it's going to do is basically interrogate that file or data set and give me some options about what pieces do I want to pull in. And I've got some information around currency that's tied to a data set. It gives me that preview. Again, I've got a Power Pivot model within Excel that is presenting this data. So I'm actually hitting an Excel file, hitting a workbook tab that's tied to a pivot table that's in a Power Pivot model that has a Power Query feeding it from data source. So I'm a couple layers deep. Then what happens is I can actually load this. So by default, you don't have really an option to load the data into a workbook tab or into the model. It's always going into the model. You've got Power Pivot kind of built into this experience. So there's not a lot here, but as you can see, it's basically the same kind of paradigm. And notice that it follows the kind of experience that you see within the preview browser site, because this is really going to be designed for people that may not necessarily need a richer experience from a consumption standpoint, and they're just viewing reports, they're making changes to reports. This is really designed for people who are actually sourcing data, building relationships with the models, all the work on KPIs and metrics, and building reports as well. So I can quickly bring those in. Let me see, did I save? Let me see if I can tempt fate on this one. Yep, it's not going to work. Oh, because of the gateway permission on there. I got an Azure database out there that won't let me get to it. So let me try one more thing. I wonder if this guy's out there still, if I hadn't moved it. Yeah, okay. So let's grab a couple things. Let's do like product and sales and geography and load. And then if I want to see the different types of queries that I have out there, these are the list of the ones that I brought in. This query one is the one that's giving me problems, so I can hopefully drop that one, so it won't give me any issues. And then I've got my product dimension. Again, the view is very, very much like Power Query. I got the same set of features I can do to manipulate the data. If I have some columns here I don't care about, I can take these and I can, remove those columns from the data set. So I have the same type of fidelity that I need. And maybe if I bring in one more, go back to my report, go back into recent sources, VentureWorks, and let me bring in my internet sales. This is one cool feature. It's actually, assuming it does what it normally does, except for everything's not working the way it's supposed to today. It should detect some of those data sets. So as I look through those queries, I should be able to kind of see, hey, these are the products that are related to these particular sales and where they're being sold from in the specific currency. So if I go into manage relationships, I should see some of those automatically pop up. Like I said, I didn't build those. Those were actually built in the underlying model that I sourced this information from. So as it brought it in, it aligned those relationships. And if you need to create new ones because you're bringing information from different sets and there's no way for it to comprehend, it'll actually maybe suggest some. I saw an example the other day where bringing in two different tables with the same column name and the same type of data and stuff, and it actually automatically linked those two pieces together automatically. So I haven't confirmed this, tested out to say is 100% accurate or not, but it's always nice to go back and check. And you can do auto detect too if you're lazy and you just want to have it run through the ones and you can just handle the exceptions. It's out there as well. And as far as the ability to do the modification for the different types of reports, the one thing I do like about the preview over the Excel piece is that it's got all the new visualizations in it. So you can actually take advantage of it. And you have the support for the options around refresh. So that when I'm done, let's do file save as, and let me dump this as Dan's, actually it's BI Dan, Nashville. Save. What I should be able to do is go back to my Power BI site. If I hadn't lost it already. And then basically I would bring it in by doing a get data and load it in as a Power Designer file, connect. And some people asked, I've heard questions before, why can't you publish from? Because if you think about the designer file, it's a lot like, the what's it, report builder and reporting services, and it's kind of like the dashboard designer thing. It's really designed to be pulled because you really don't have, it knows who you are. It's just that you're not going to be able to have that direct integration. You need to pull it in so that what it's doing, it's breaking it down into its components, the queries, the model, the what have you. So let's see. I guess one last thing, and actually I'll be happy to answer some more questions. Let me go back to the mobile. If I had a mobile device, this is kind of what it looks like. So it's very similar, but it doesn't like try to take the Windows approach to building interfaces and try to force it into, an iOS experience. It's an iOS from the ground up app. So the navigation is a little bit different. For those that are familiar, you have like the right swipe for settings, and you can, toggle those, and you got the little, toggle switch buttons and things like that. That all comes through. So it's really neat. There's a couple of good video illustrations about how that looks. Understand that the Android one is going to be next, and then last but not least, as well. And these are more from a consumption standpoint. You really don't have the ability to author within them. It's just presenting those KPIs and metrics so that you can do those two-level drills, filtering and things like that, share it with somebody else. Oh, actually, that's a good point. I forgot about the sharing. If you want to share these things with somebody, now it's limited to folks within your tenant. So if you say, if you guys are all in the same organization, you have your own independent tenant, you can share it between you, but you can't share it with Kevin because he may be in a different tenant. That's going to be changed as far as setting it up to go across tenants as well, because I know some of our customers have that as well. And you can actually share with them view only, editing and things like that as well. All right. So let me wrap up with, this is just kind of a nice kind of summary slide. Combining all the new features and capabilities. It is truly, hopefully you've seen today, or if you haven't, hopefully you get a chance to look at it soon. It's a really different experience, very, very lightweight, not a lot of processing power, not a lot of configuration that's needed to kind of interact with your data. Connects to pretty much data sets, hopefully, that you're using or familiar with today. And if you don't have access, you've got a path to kind of build out those services to support it. The devices, again, I'm pretty giddy about the whole supporting on pretty much any platform, and some of those platforms that people use predominantly being the first way to access it, and then still bridging the gap between the on-premise data. So hopefully that was, I apologize for some of the delays there and stuff, but definitely go out and sign up. I would ask, please, there is truly, I wouldn't be saying this unless it wasn't true. No risk in signing up for the preview. You don't need a credit card number. You don't need anything. You just need an email address. And then if you happen to have an Office 365 tenant, you may have to give it that admin to allow for you to gain access to the preview. And then when it does go GA, you'll end up actually getting, and this is my closing point, is there are going to be 2 editions of Power BI when it goes live. There's going to be a premium edition, which is basically kind of what you saw today, the all up. And there's going to be a free edition. So what will end up happening is that you'll roll over into the free edition. And if you want to see, I think it's in here in the pricing, some of it may change, but the Power BI Pro has got, same capabilities of what you see today in Office 365. The free version just has limits on the size of the files, the frequency of the refresh. And unfortunately, it doesn't have things like connecting to data sources, internally and using the data management gateway. So if you want to use it for enterprise, go with the Pro Edition. If you just want to use it for yourself, the free edition will work. So, questions? Make sense? So yes, questions, sir.
At the top of that screen, you're talking about that's a per user.
Yes.
Per month.
Per user per month.
So that's the person actually setting up and doing the dashboard, or that the person's consuming the dashboard as well?
It is all the above. To even get access to the service. Now, I've been into some interesting conversations to say, well, what if some of my audience is free and those are my predominant consumers, which all they want to do is see it. And then I've got the smaller group, that's dedicated to building out all the assets and things like that. How does that mix and blend and stuff? I'm still trying to understand the blend. So just to be conservative, and if it changes, I'll definitely let you know. But for now, If people want to see it and view it and update it and edit and stuff, they need Pro. And if it's personal, then only you can see it and update it and view it and stuff.
So I'm with United Way, Metropolitan Nashville.
Yeah.
We currently are Office 365 users. We have Exchange hosted with that. It's an E3 level subscription. We did have a special price because we're a nonprofit. Are they going to have special pricing for nonprofits?
A great question. So special pricing and nonprofit, I've actually dealt with this firsthand. And I know that, and if you've seen differently, correct me if I'm wrong, there wasn't a nonprofit pricing for Power BI when it first came out. And other companies have asked that as well. I don't have any information now that I can share, which means I don't know.
Is there anyone I can talk to influence that?
If you wouldn't mind, let's talk afterwards and I can try to help you.
Thanks.
That's what I'm here for. Yes, sir.
Are there any other major modifiers on pricing, like if you have an SA with a enterprise agreement or that sort of thing?
So you're talking about so enterprise agreements are for folks who buy lots of Microsoft stuff. Thank you very much. We love you. The tiered level, my understanding is that will apply when it goes live. What that tier breakdown looks like at this point, I don't think anybody knows. So for now, assume this is the, how can I say this and be able to defend it later? My understanding is that this is going to be the most expensive version. It should not go up. It should only go down. But how much it's going to go down and the breakouts of going down, or even a third flavor popping up somewhere, don't really know yet. So this would be the starting point for conversations. And if I could, Kevin, kind of add to that point, this is really now designed to encapsulate all the information workers within your organization. So hopefully it's set up in a way to where it's accessible, it's available, it's price competitive to where everybody wants to get access to it, hence the need for the price to be pretty reasonable. So, but thank you for bringing that up. Any other questions?
Yeah. Did you happen to mention EPA on the
preview? Yeah, so right now the plans are, and actually this came out in Convergence last week. Is everybody familiar with Convergence? It's like a business decision maker conference. Usually covers different product sets like Dynamics and CRM and whatever. There's an announcement there. It was initially targeted for this calendar year, and now they're saying summertime. And what summertime means in Microsoft terms is sometime between July and September. So as we get closer to that, hopefully that'll get narrowed down to a smaller time frame. So be looking for something September, just from experience. All right. Anything else? Bueller? So, and for those online, I apologize for not being able to share the content. I'll make sure that gets shared with the folks here so you guys can have access to it. But again, I appreciate your time today. Hope you found this vaguely interesting. If you have any other questions, definitely come to me. I am based in Tennessee, even though it is Memphis. So if you're an EPG account or you come to these user group meetings, I'll be around. I got some business cards too. And actually, I think we got some giveaways to give away as well. Thank you. Jim. All right, Jim. Or Kevin, or whoever's going away.
Come up. We usually make time for people to make announcements for jobs. Anybody have a job opening in here? Yes, you bet.
Hi everyone, I'm a SQL specialist at Result Technology. I'm working on a BI developer for a 6-month contract with entire BI staff. The SQL per position. If anyone has SSIS looking for positions, let me know. I can find you out.
Awesome. Right. Yes.
Hi, my name is Alex Matt. I'm with Alltech Incorporated. We have 2 positions open for SQL Server Database Administrators. One's a mid-level SQL Server Database position in the Brentwood, Tennessee area. And the second one is for a senior SQL Server Database admin in the Southwest Nashville area. If anybody's interested in learning more about positions, please feel free to call us, or you can talk to George over here, gentleman with the white hair. And our email is george.shaw@alltech.net. Alltech.net, sorry.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Robert.
So, my team at City Hall Springs to hire a junior. Looking for someone who has some super experience. We're not looking for senior level people. We're looking for like a player. Looking for someone who has maybe some development experiences in this county.
That sounds like a good opportunity. Very hard to find junior DBA positions where people give you a chance to prove yourself. So that's good. Anybody else have any job openings or opportunities? No. Okay. Well, Jersey's going to pick up our evaluation forms. I'm going to let Al of the North Jersey come back up. He's got the giveaway first. Do you have your stuff for your business card stuff? Oh, yes. Dan, so appreciate everybody. Give Dan a round of applause here. Appreciate it. The house on the topic, and as you can from what Dan gave you, knew what he was talking about for sure. So, Al, sir, I'll let you. You want to? We got gift like real money stuff. Gosh, good thing y'all didn't leave. We got two $25 gift cards and some mugs. You're gonna give them away with the gift cards. You want 5 of them? I'll give them away with the gift cards. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna have one. So the first unlucky person is just gonna win mug. Sorry, guys. Whoever that is out there. John Burnett. John. All right, can you get your mug? Sorry. All right, next one's gonna get a mug and a gift certificate. Sorry, no. You recognize your card. Come on, Marcus Hodgins. Marcus, sir, come on up. $25 gift certificate and a nice mug from the Noah Group. Thank you. All right, one last one. Again, same gift.
Pick mine.
John Ball. John. All right. Awesome. Appreciate it. All right, everybody, thank Alan Weber for being sponsored us. Service our food. Thank you, sir. Bring us food anytime you want to bring us food. I'm over on 333 Commerce. You can bring it to my house if you want. Any more evaluation forms? We're going to give away some nice Microsoft swag here. Dan's got some great stuff.
Let's start with the simple stuff.
Okay, yeah, what's the easiest thing? Let's start with some of this.
That's it. So,
Okay, let Dan
got a version of Office 2013 Professional, so you can actually do some BI stuff with.
So this is Office
2013 Professional.
Oh. Big card. Not that one. Anything with that one.
This one.
All right, which one is? Who is this? We got Patrick Barrett. Oh, so yeah, Bursak, Patrick Bursak. Patrick, come on up. Either your penmanship or my ability to read are telling us. But what is mine? Pick up your 2013 Office copy. Making you eligible for any other gifts for this evening.
I got
You got 2 more of the same thing. We're going to pick 2 in a row. Yeah. Awesome. All right, who we got?
We got Philip Ellen.
Glad you can read that one.
Yeah.
Phil, come on up.
There we go. And Ross Kimberlin.
Ross. All right. Real Microsoft stuff. Official. This isn't even the Chinese copy, guys. These are real Chinese copies were last week.
All right.
Now we got this great one.
It's a USB power bank. I guess charges smartphones and other devices except for Apple.
Except for Apple. Okay. If you get your number again, we'll get you. You got Apple. Just abstain.
Phone charger.
All right. Awesome.
Looks like Marcus Blair.
Marcus, come on up.
And then how it works.
Power ups, yeah. You know Dan about that.
All right, let's see what else. I have a Microsoft Bluetooth. I should have this, people.
Wow.
Wait a minute, this is no, it's these are actually pretty good. So
Yeah, very nice. Good footprint.
Yeah.
Jason Ford.
Jason. All right, so great. Appreciate it.
And then last but not least,
Mr. Dan's got this last thing to give away.
this is actually a rarity. I know it's Office, but it's still close enough to the BI stack. Good battery. It's a fuel battery. It's actually a pretty nice battery.
They got a lot of talking about.
Actually,
I
yeah.
call them MERS, the man part.
Shirley Moulton.
Surely.
All right, there you go.
There we
We
go.
need another Microsoft bag. You have the one you use every day. That's awesome.
All right.
All right, so we got one more. Got one more giveaway for the One more giveaway here.
Ooh.
This is a fancy Microsoft Azure hoodie. This is the end of the season here. Perfect. Next time it'll be t-shirts. So this is just yours to wear home. We're literally getting the shirt off Dan's back. So it's
Nice
a nice.
call.
What is that, Express? It's very nice. Very nice.
Okay. And
Very good.
it
Our last one
goes to Jim Savage.
Jim Savage. Come get you a t-shirt. Give it away. Makes a great car candy. It's a good buck. Watch out for the zipper on there. And we have these Azure. I should have wanted just to give these away.
Just give them
Anybody who wants one of these great Azure mats we have,
a poster.
very, very nice poster.
It's a car sticker.
Those are stickers, and then there's also the cleaners. There should be 5 or 6.
Very nice. All right. I want to appreciate you guys for coming. Kevin, forget anything else you have. We appreciate it very much, guys. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
And
Happy Easter.
thanks for supporting us. Keep us in the region.
Can't open it.
Oh, yeah. I stick, put that in the car. They'll get you out of the ticket. I'm telling you. We love Microsoft Azure.
Thank you so much, Dan, for
All right, I'm
presenting.
gonna shut this down.
Yeah. Appreciate all of the.
Thanks all.